Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
Official sources in the Interior Ministry revealed on Friday that security forces that have been backing up the army troops have freed the 5 Italian tourists taken hostage by Yemeni tribes.
The news about the release of the 5 hostages reached us via the Interior Ministry, and we have been in constant communication with it during the past period. From here, I want to give praise, appreciation, and respect to the Italian government for all the effort it exerted with the Yemeni government and our brothers in the Interior Ministry. And we hope that nothing like this happens in Yemen in the future.
The end of this operation came with the release of the 5 tourists held hostage and the arrest of the kidnappers, who are now behind bars, as we see in this picture. This is representative of how goodness always prevails in the end. It is a clear sign by the Yemeni government to everyone who breaks the law that justice will prevail over anyone, whether they are young or old, wherever they may be, and wherever they are found, and that there is no authority greater than the law. In addition, an official from the Interior Ministry said that the security forces had strengthened their position with support by the armed forces and with the help of brother citizens. At 9:30 on Friday morning, they freed the 5 Italian tourists that were held hostage for a number of days by some of the outlawed criminal groups in the village of Mutaka in the district of Sarwa in the Marib region. A source said that these criminal groups surrendered after authorities closed in on them and surrounded the house where they held the Italian tourists hostage, and after the criminal groups had given up on the possibility that the government would fulfill their illegal demands. The source said that the kidnappers were arrested. They are Mohammed Saleh Al-Afi Al-Zaidi, Murray Al-Ahmad Al-Ameri, Ali Saleh, Ubad Al-Zaidi, Ubad Saleh Al-Akufi Al-Zaidi, Naji Muhammad Saleh Al-Akufi Al-Zaidi, and Hadi Muhammad Ali Al-Ameri. Legal rulings will be taken against them, and this will serve as a lesson to others. The Italian tourists that were freed are in good health and were flown to the capital of Sana'a. The source stressed the heroic role played by the individuals of the armed and security forces, as well as the Air Force, in fighting terrorism, based on their high level of performance in carrying out their duties in this successful operation. The source also stressed the help given by the citizen brothers in the area, who confirmed their rejection of these kinds of horrible acts that are violating the country, hurting its interests, and the interests of the citizens. The source confirmed that the security forces will not hesitate and will act decisively to eliminate this foreign phenomenon of kidnappings in our society and deal sternly and strongly with the criminals and whoever thinks about disturbing the security of the country and its citizens.
The director of the civil defense in the holy city of Mecca said one of the buildings adjacent to a hotel near the holy mosque in Mecca collapsed at 1 p.m. today. Immediately, the civil defense and other agencies started their rescue missions. So far, 15 men were killed and 39 others were injured. They were pulled out from underneath the rubble. Rescue missions are still ongoing, and we will announce more details as we go. May God guide people to the right path.
تم استخراجهم من بين الأنقاض ولا تزال عمليات الإنقاذ جارية في الموقع وسوف تعلن المستجدات في حينه والله الهادي إلى سواء السبيل. هذا وقد أوضح وكيل إمارة منطقة مكة المكرمة عبد الله الفايز.
The governor of Mecca, Abdullah al-Faiz, said that the rescue missions and removing the rubble have been ongoing since the building collapsed in Mecca. Civil defense forces, the Pilgrim Security Forces, the Saudi Red Crescent, and other agencies are coordinating their rescue efforts under the supervision of His Highness the Prince Abdul Majid bin Abdul Aziz, the Prince of the Holy City of Mecca. Faiz said that all the injured who were transported to the hospital had minor injuries, hoping that they will heal quickly. He indicated that the collapsed structure was a 4-floor building located in Gaza City near the Holy Mosque in Mecca.
أن الوزارة باشرت توفير خدماتها الطبية لنحو 39 مصابا من جراء حادث انهيار أحد المباني الملحقة بفندق بالقرب من الحرم المكي حيث وزعت على المستشفى.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Hamid bin Abdullah Al-Ma'an, said that the ministry has provided medical care to 39 injured people. The injured were sent to different hospitals in Mecca, and they are now receiving medical care. Dr. Hamid said that the response was immediate and quick, thanks to their intensive training. Meanwhile, the spokesman of the Ministry of Interior, Sultan bin Turki, told the Saudi press agency that the emergency center has designated a phone number which is 0255-72830 to receive any inquiry calls about the deaths resulting from the collapsed building today in the holy city of Mecca. The two suicide operations that took place in the cities of Ramadi and Karbala killed more than 110 Iraqis and injured nearly 200 others. One of the leaders of the Dawah party accused some fronts, without naming names, of encouraging these attacks to affect the results of the general elections. The Iraqi President Jalal Talibani confirmed that the escalation in violence will not hinder efforts to create a unified government with the participation of all Iraqis.
دماء جديدة تراق على أرض العراق، وبعد يوم واحد من هجمات حصلت أرواح العشرات من المدنيين شهدت مدينة كربلاء الواقعة على بعد 100 كيلومتر جنوب العاصمة العراقية بغداد.
New blood flows on Iraqi soil one day after Iraq lost dozens of civilians. The city of Karbala, nearly 100 kilometers south of Baghdad, witnessed a suicide operation near the Shiite holy shrines. This operation is not the first of its kind, but it is the latest in a series of bloody attacks which took place in Karbala over the past 3 years. The suicide operation in Karbala, which killed and wounded dozens of people, came after another attack in the city of Ramadi, which is one of the Sunni strongholds in western Iraq. This attack targeted a group of people interested in working for the Iraqi police, which has always been an easy target for suicide operations. These new attacks are the most violent since the elections took place on December 15th of last year. All sectors of Iraqi society participated in these elections. The initial results created a kind of disunity among Iraqi political parties. Some accused the Independent Elections Commission of playing with the results by preferring some parties over others. This charged atmosphere compelled Jawad al-Maliki, the second in charge in the Dawah party, which is a partner in the United Iraqi Alliance, to describe the Karbala bombing as a heinous crime with sectarian imprints that aimed to affect the election results that were favorable to the Shiite religious parties. However, the Iraqi President Jalal Talibani said that the escalation in attacks will not affect efforts aimed at creating a unity government that will include all segments of the Iraqi society. Observers fear that these efforts will take a long time, giving armed groups plenty of opportunities to intensify their attacks in the next phase. US President George Bush does not shy away from expressing his concern about delaying the formation of the new Iraqi government. He called for coming to a quick agreement between the political forces in Iraq in order to stop those who are trying to prevent the security situation from improving.
ضرورة التوصل إلى اتفاق سريع بين القوى السياسية في العراق لقطع الطريق أمام محاولات تحسين الأوضاع الأمنية.
If Iraqis continue to make progress on the security and political sides that we expect, we can discuss further possible adjustments with the leaders of a new government in Iraq. But my decisions will be based upon conditions on the ground and the recommendation of our commanders there.
Washington is determined to reduce the number of American forces in Iraq this year in order to ease increasing domestic pressures due to the rise in American casualties. American officials have avoided making any decisions on this issue until the Iraqi army and police are able to carry out the security responsibilities. Many believe that this will be difficult to achieve in the near future.
A total of 11 U.S. servicemen were killed in Iraq yesterday when more than 120 people lost their lives in one of the bloodiest days since the U.S.-led invasion. The latest casualties took the death toll of U.S. soldiers in Iraq since the U.S.-led invasion in March 2003 to at least 2,192. Elsewhere, 2 people were killed and 24 were injured in a riot in the Iraqi town of Nasiriyah, 350 kilometers south of the capital Baghdad. Hundreds of people took to the streets of Nasiriyah with banners, sticks and guns yesterday to protest the state of employment and lack of jobs in Iraq. The demonstration turned into a riot as violence erupted on the streets. Police with guns and riot gear tried to calm the crowd. In another development, Poland's defense minister suggested today that Polish troops could stay in Iraq beyond the current deadline of December 2006, saying Poland is committed to the mission's full success. Meanwhile, the twin suicide bombings and a string of other attacks left more than 120 people dead yesterday. U.S. President George W. Bush said the United States could help shed its bullying image abroad if more Americans learn to speak a foreign language. Bush said he would request $114 million in the next budget year to help teach U.S. students Arabic, Chinese, Russian, Hindi, Farsi and other languages that are rarely studied. The president said it is only natural that people who speak the same language relate better. Bush said it helps when he meets with foreign dignitaries. As an example, he cited Peru's President Alejandro Toledo, who was educated at Stanford University. Bush announced the initiative at the U.S. University's President Summit on International Education. He said, "I mean, somebody takes time to figure out how to speak Arabic. It means they are interested in somebody else's culture."
The citizens of Israel continue to follow the Prime Minister's deteriorating health with grave concern. Here's what some of them had to say.
I hope the situation is going to be better. I hope for the recovery of the Prime Minister, and hope everything is going to be on the best side of things.
It's very important for me so Sharon will be well, and I wish him all the best. And get out of bed from the hospital, and the things in Israel always could be better. But we only wish to the best, and that's it.
Arab satellite stations offered non-stop live coverage outside of Hadassah and Karam Hospital, where the Prime Minister is fighting for his life. In the Palestinian Authority, Chairman Mahmoud Abbas called Acting Prime Minister Ehud Olmert today to express his concern over Sharon's well-being. Deputy Chairman Nabil Sha'ath said the Palestinian people are saddened by Sharon's worsening health, a situation which adds to the uncertainties surrounding the peace process. Chief Negotiator Saeb Erekat said that the Prime Minister's condition turns the entire situation in the Middle East on its head. Erekat said that the PA doesn't generally comment on internal Israeli politics, but that this situation is different as the Prime Minister's health has a direct effect on the Palestinian territories. PA Prime Minister Ahmed Correa told reporters that he wishes the Prime Minister a full recovery.
First, no doubt there will be Israel will miss Sharon as a leader and as a decision maker. For us, the Palestinians, what concerns us, first of all, we hope that she will recover. Second, we are looking all the time for leaders in Israel to be in favor of peace, to be ready to sit with the Palestinians, to start a very serious and credible negotiation. This is what we do.
Meanwhile, Palestinian militant groups expressed satisfaction at the Prime Minister's declining health. A Hamas spokesman in Gaza said that the situation in the Middle East will be better without Sharon. Many Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank remain somewhat indifferent to Sharon's situation, saying his health does not affect the Palestinian struggle against the occupation.
Looking for hope. They're looking for a serious leadership that takes over in Israel, that's serious about allowing the Palestinians to pave the way for their self-determination, for the recognition of their rights, and for the establishment of the Palestinian state.
Sharon being dead or alive, he will not decide or imagine all the Palestinian life, because if he died, another Israeli authority will come and make more than Sharon did for the Palestinian people.
President George W. Bush praised Sharon as a man of courage and peace, saying that he and First Lady Laura Bush share the worries of the Israeli people and are praying for Sharon's recovery.
We pray not only the soldiers but the police. Our special units will continue hunting down Al-Qaeda and their affiliates. See, Al-Qaeda thinks they can use Iraq as a safe haven from which to launch attacks. That's their stated objective.
Not all of the reactions to Sharon's illness have been sympathetic. Tzfat Chief Rabbi Shmuel Eliyahu, son of the former Sephardi Chief Rabbi Mordechai Eliyahu, said, quote, "If you fear that Sharon will continue to cause pain to Jewish families if he recovers, don't pray for him." The rabbi said that one should not pray for Sharon's demise, but that it was forbidden to be insincere in one's prayers. In the 50 religious Zionist schools headed by Ariel Youth Movement Director Rabbi Eitan Eisman, students said that they were also advised not to pray for Sharon's recovery. And in America, televangelist Pat Robertson sparked outrage when he suggested on his show, The 700 Club, that Sharon suffered the stroke due to his Mideast peace policies. CNN's Mary Snow tells us more.
With Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon gravely ill, televangelist Pat Robertson suggested Sharon's stroke was brought on by God's wrath. On the Christian Broadcasting Network program The 700 Club, Robertson said Sharon was dividing God's land.
I am sad to see him in this condition, but I think we need to look at the Bible. And the book of Joel, the prophet Joel, makes it very clear that God has enmity against those who, quote, divide my land.
While he didn't say it directly, some say Robertson was referring to Sharon's peace deal to withdraw Israeli troops and settlers from Gaza. Robertson didn't stop there. He also said it was, quote, the same thing in the case of former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, who was assassinated for his peace efforts.
I had a wonderful meeting with Yitzhak Rabin in 1974. He was tragically assassinated. It was a terrible thing that happened, but nevertheless, he was dead. And now Ariel Sharon, who is, again, a very likable person, a delightful person to be with. I prayed with him personally, but here he's at the point of death. He was dividing God's land. And I would say, woe unto any prime minister of Israel who takes a similar course to appease the EU, the United Nations, or the United States of America. God says, this land belongs to me. You better leave it alone.
A representative for Robertson said the Christian televangelist did not direct any personal antagonism toward Ariel Sharon, whom he says he likes. He says he was simply referring to what is in the Old Testament's book of Joel. Earlier on the Situation Room, the Israeli ambassador to the U.S. expressed outrage and compared Robertson's words to the type of rhetoric one would expect to hear from the Iranian president.
Such things are very outrageous, and I would expect this only from people like Ahmadinejad in Iran, who is so outrageous and irresponsible, and I think that there were some comments like this from him. I wouldn't expect it from any of our friends.
Reactions to Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon's critical health condition flowed in abundance, with some leaders hailing Sharon's emergency, while others worrying that his fate could profoundly alter the political dynamics in the Middle East. Lebanon's Foreign Minister Fawzi Salloukh said whether Sharon died or not, what was important was that the region reached a peaceful solution where all problems could be solved. May Fawaz has the latest developments.
Following a massive brain hemorrhage, the 77-year-old Ariel Sharon has been fighting for his life after a 7-hour operation to stop bleeding in his brain. Doctors said his condition was critical but stable. They told reporters he had retained brain function but held out little chance Sharon would be able to resume his job, now being carried out by his deputy Ehud Olmert. Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas told reporters yesterday Sharon's situation affected Israel first of all and had repercussions for the region, but would not lead to a delay in Palestinian elections. Abbas had earlier telephoned the Prime Minister's office to wish Sharon a speedy recovery. Premier Ahmed Qurayh said Sharon's demise would leave a big vacuum in Israel. In contrast, Sharon's fiercest enemy, Hamas, gloated over the news, saying the Middle East would be a better place without him. It said Sharon's fate was, quote, divine intervention reserved for despots and evildoers. And in Gaza, Palestinian youngsters led by members of the ruling Fatah faction handed out chocolate to celebrate news of Sharon's condition while waving banners reading "Death to Sharon, the child killer." Similarly, hardline Jewish settlers were getting ready to throw a party in a Jewish enclave in the Flashpoint, West Bank city of Hebron. Outside Israel, hatred to the bulldozer's calamity was vehemently expressed by Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. While he made no direct mention of Sharon's medical emergency, Nejad launched a verbal attack on Western support of Sharon's rule. Speaking to a group of Shiite Muslim clerics in Iran's holy city of Qum, Nejad said he hoped the news that the criminal of Sabra and Shatila had joined his ancestors was final.
His Honorable Sheikh Taysir Al-Tamimi, the Grand Mufti of Palestine and head of the High Islamic Council, has condemned reports by a number of Israeli news agencies that Israel is building a Jewish synagogue underneath the foundation of Al-Aqsa Mosque. The mosque is located near the Maghreb and Silsila gates in East Jerusalem. Mr. Al-Tamimi also confirmed that Israel denied him access to the site. Therefore, he cannot take a first-hand look at what is taking place under the foundation of Al-Aqsa Mosque. We are joined via telephone with His Honorable Sheikh Taysir Al-Tamimi. Mr. Al-Tamimi, how reliable are these reports?
A number of Israeli media outlets reported that the Israeli government had secretly built a Jewish synagogue beneath the foundation of Al-Aqsa Mosque. I believe these reports are very accurate and reliable. They have previously reported that Israel has constructed a tourist town beneath the foundation of the Holy Mosque. We are not allowed to go under the mosque foundation. The situation is very critical, and Al-Aqsa Mosque is in serious and imminent danger. The security situation in the Palestinian territories, especially in Jerusalem, is very tense, and these Israeli violations will escalate it even further. Muslims all over the world consider Al-Aqsa Mosque to be one of the most valued parts of their religious belief. Therefore, the attack on Al-Aqsa Mosque will explode the entire region, erupting it like a volcano.
The Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad confirmed that his country is going forward with its nuclear program, rejecting Western threats to stop negotiations if Iran resumes its nuclear enrichment program. In the holy city of Qum, Ahmadinejad made a speech attacking the Israeli entity for spreading the germ of corruption in the region. In front of a crowd in the holy city of Qum, the Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad gave a defiant speech in which he renewed his attack against the United States and Western nations and accused them of hypocrisy on the issue of human rights. He described the Israeli entity as a germ of corruption that the Muslim people must not tolerate.
If you can't stand to even hear the talk about the spread of the germ of corruption near your country, then how can you expect the people of this region to tolerate this germ at their borders? Be certain that the Palestinian people are not alone, and all the Muslim people will not tolerate this occupation entity and its bad government in the region, not for even a second.
With regard to the nuclear issue, Ahmadinejad confirmed that his country is going forward with its nuclear program, challenging Western threats and pressures, which have recently escalated as a result of Iran's announcement that it will resume its nuclear activities in the upcoming days.
I know that the Iranian people and their government will defend their legal right to possess nuclear technology, relying on patience, fairness, and wisdom. God willing, I hope that Iran's scientists will be able to use this technology in the near future in medicine, agriculture, production, and energy.
وأثار استئناف إيران لأبحاثها النووية سلسلة من ردود الفعل الغربية الغاضبة فقد هددت كل من فرنسا وألمانيا من أن عدم
Iran resuming its nuclear enrichment brought about a series of angry reactions from the West. France and Germany threatened that if Iran does not change, their decision dangerously threatens any continuation of negotiations with the European Troika, which is scheduled to meet on January 18th. An Iranian official in the nuclear file, Ali Larijani, announced that Iran's decision is not negotiable. Head of National Security and Foreign Affairs Committee in the Iranian parliament, Aladdin Bouragi, said that the resumption of nuclear research is not sufficient, calling for the resumption of uranium enrichment. Iran's decision to resume its nuclear activities is the second step on the road to remove restrictions imposed on its nuclear program, which began with resumption of work in the Afsahan complex last summer. Iran waits for the resumption of uranium enrichment in the Natanz complex, which will be the third step on the road of defiance that Tehran has chosen.
الذي تسلكه طهران نفيد بهروز العالم طهران.
تطور العلاقات الاقتصادية بين المغرب والولايات المتحدة.
After signing the free trade agreement between Morocco and the United States, economic relations will develop gradually. These were the words of United States Congressman Tom Lantos when he met with Prime Minister Idriss Jetto. We leave you with a report of Jaddi Adwan and Aziz Majid.
الوزير الأول إدريس جتو. ريبورتاج جادة بردان وعزيز ماجد.
The Moroccan Prime Minister Idriss Jetto met with United States Congressman Tom Lantos and talked about the free trade agreement, which went into effect on January 2nd, 2006. This agreement will open new and promising opportunities for Moroccan products, which will be sold in American markets.
على السوق الأمريكية.
نعول كثيرا على تطبيق هذا الاتفاق في المجال التجاري وخاصة فيما يخص.
We depend a lot on this agreement, especially concerning foreign investments. We would like to see Morocco develop importing and exporting projects with the United States. We talked a lot about future plans, and the American congressman had much to say.
تحديد ملامحه.
Monsieur Lantos a joué un rôle extrêmement important dans la mise en place du MCA.
من جانبه أكد النائب
The American congressman confirmed that the development of economic relations between Morocco and the United States will happen gradually, adding that the two countries have taken many measures to make sure that this gradual development does take place.
We have built in a set of protective measures and a number of trading schemes to make sure that the free trade agreement is gradually implemented without creating sudden problems for our friends in Morocco.
Concerning the Western Sahara problem, Tom Lantos said that his country will continue to support concerned parties to find a satisfactory solution to this conflict. He welcomed the huge efforts that Morocco has exerted concerning this matter. Also, the Democratic congressman said that he is relieved by the level of cooperation between Morocco and the United States at the security level.
The views expressed on Mosaic are not those of Link TV or its sponsors, but of the broadcasters themselves. Mosaic is made possible by a grant from the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, which promotes journalism excellence worldwide and invests in the vitality of 26 U.S. communities. And the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation. Additional support is provided by the Firedoll Foundation and Henry and Virgilia Dakin.